this is day 3 of our sew along. I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes to see if anybody's coming on to do it live. I'm running a little bit late tonight because I got stuck in a horrific traffic jam. So while we're waiting for anybody to come on live, so far we have done printing pattern after we've measured ourselves, so we've got our right measurements, we've chosen what cup size we're in, we've chosen the right layers to print on the pattern, and we have printed them. We've obviously taped it, cut it, and yesterday we cut all our fabric out using the pattern pieces. There's 2 different versions you can do. There's obviously the burrito style method without armbands, which is what I will show you today. And then in a separate video I will do the armband version as well, so that you can skip to whichever video you want to do, whether you want to do the burrito one or whether you want to do the armband version. So there's going to be 2 versions that we do, and I will run you through both. So hoping that people who wanted to join on live have noticed that I'm going on. Milo, I'm busy talking to the internet, people. Don't squeak at me. Yeah, alright, come here then. This is Milo. He is the not so helpful fluffy pattern helper. Yeah, but you just needed to let people know that you were here. The fluffy pattern weight Zuma is currently playing with his brothers and sisters because I don't need that drama right now. So I've got a couple of people on now. So if you want to sew along, let me know what you're doing, let me know what fabrics you're using. We'll get started in a minute or 2. But yeah, sorry it's a bit late tonight. Tonight, it's like 9:15. We got stuck in an hour and a half of traffic jam getting back from IKEA today. So we were educating my friend all about 90s school disco music. And she was not impressed. She's a 97 baby. So it was good fun. So for the first one, you need your liner pieces. Obviously we clipped them together yesterday. If you haven't clipped them together, that's fine. And your outer pieces. So like I said yesterday, I got the rainbow dragon scales. That's currently on perpetual pre-order with Acheron, and I've just gone for some blue for my liner. And for this method you only need the waistband. So you can either do prepping the waistband first or follow the pattern instructions and do it when we've done the sewing the body together. So what we'll do, well, first off is we'll follow the order that the instructions give you so that you don't get too lost. So you want to take your outer, you should have your back piece, and you should have your cup, your front side, and we're just going to, now because I'm British, it's overlock. For American folk watching, you serge or straight or stretch stitch across the shoulders. So that's all we're going to do first. Now obviously remembering, if you've got your pattern pieces handy, obviously it'll tell you your seam allowance on them. So just grab one of your pattern pieces and it'll say right down the bottom that it is a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So put my blade on. So all we're going to do first is just go straight along. Hi to all those new joining us. We're literally just about to start. We're going to do the burrito style first. So you need your outers back and front, your liners back and front, and your waistband for this one. If you are doing the armband version, you can watch how the burrito style is done, so you can attempt it next time if you want to. And then what we'll do is we'll be going live again to do the armband. So if you want to clip these, you can clip them. If you want to pin them, you can pin them. But all you want to do is simply go straight along. Straight along your joining seams. So we're just going along the shoulders at this point. So nice and simple first step. Who's doing the burrito style? Are you sewing along at the moment, or are you watching to sew it later? So that is your outer done. Put that to one side, and then we're going to do exactly the same, right sides together on your liner. Just go straight across on both of them. 1/2 inch seam allowance on these. And we're sewing the right sides together, and we're just going straight across the shoulders. So it's the same first couple of steps for both the burrito style and the armband method. Doesn't really matter which one you're doing at this moment, but this was what we're going to do. So now I've got my liner, I've got it face right side up, and I'm going to put my outer right sides together, and just want to pop them one on top of each other. Helpful to put it the right way round. And then for this bit, we're going to go around this middle bit. So I just put a couple of clips on where the shoulder pieces meet. You can clip it the whole way round if you want, or you can just put a couple in. That is completely up to you. Hi Anne, are you alright? Are you sewing along, or are you just watching and sewing it in a bit? So I'm just going to put a couple of clips in, and we're going to sew the outer to the liner, right sides together. So there you go. So we've got a couple of clips all around the middle, and now we're just going to sew around this. Hi Stephanie. Hi Mary. Driving home from vacation? Oh, where have you been? Anywhere nice? You can use pins, you can use clips. I have found that if I use pins with my overlocker, I forget to take them out. And let's just say it's a good job I wear glasses. That's it's a bit of a mixed accent, really. I'm actually from southern England originally, but I moved up to South Yorkshire about 7 years ago. So there's a couple of bits that I will still sort of say in Queen's English, but then there's a lot that I've picked up like alright and what's up Gawker and all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, there's quite a lot of weird twang that goes on with my accent. It's a bit different. Ohio to see relatives. Cool. Have you been for long? Oh, Suffolk. Okay, yeah, I know what you mean. It's nice to see people like interacting tonight. The last couple of nights I felt like a bit of a wally, just sat here talking to myself. Ah, thanks, Mary. I quite like the Boston accent. I've got a couple of friends in that from all over the US, and I love talking to them in all their different accents. And my son loves video chatting with them as well, because he loves hearing all the different things that they say compared to the different things that he says. And we were having a discussion actually earlier on the way back from the post office. We'd been down to post a parcel, and I said, oh, it'd be alright, because he'd fallen over in the muck and got wet trousers because it had been raining. And he goes, what are you saying? And I said, oh, it'll be alright. And he's like, no, mummy, it's alright. It'll be alright. I was like, oh, sorry, okay, it's alright. It'll be alright. I was like, it's a bit silly, isn't it? Mummy's just picked up some of the South Yorkshire. And he goes, but we're English. I was like, I know we're English, but it's just a different part. We talk in different parts of the country. It's like the easiest way to, you'll know this, Stephanie, the easiest way to cause an argument in England is to ask what people call a bread roll or a bread bun, because it will literally sort out every part of the United Kingdom. It is called different things everywhere. Like, I'm used to calling it a bread roll, but up here it's a bread cake. And I'm always like, no, it's not a bread cake. It's not got yeast in it. It's not got sugar in it. It's got yeast in it. It's a bread roll. It's not a cake. But they're like, yeah, but you slice it like a cake. No, it's not. Is it a bread roll for you as well, Stephanie? Right, so all we're going to do now is just overlock the neckline for this. So just going to go all the way around. Again, 1/2 inch seam allowance. What do you call them in the US then, Mary? What would you call, like, a bread roll, bread bun, bread bap? Yeah, see, I don't mind calling it a bap if it's like, I'll have chip butty or a bacon bap. But if it's just like, well, I'll have a cheese sandwich in a bread roll, and somebody goes, oh, no, it's barn cake. Oh, I've heard that. I thought barn cake was more over Manchester way, though. I lived in Manchester for about 3 months. Decided it was too busy for me, and I just didn't like it. But I live near Sheffield now, so that's where we live today. IKEA at Sheffield. And my son was most excited that they have soft toy dinosaurs, and the restaurant has opened up as well now, so we sat down and had a bit of lunch in the restaurant, which he loved. Right, now, one trick I have found, I'm just going to turn the blade off of this, doing the burrito style, I found sometimes if your serge is a bit, or overlocker is a bit temperamental like mine, I'll actually go over the inside, the neckline, and when we do the burrito, I go round the arm side twice, because I felt that it goes, when you're pulling it through, sometimes I've snagged stitches and, they've come apart. Like a dinner roll or a loaf of bread. No, like a dinner roll. Chips or crisps and cookies or biscuits. Yeah. So our packets of crisps, yeah, are crisps. But like if you're having like French fries, potato chips and stuff like that. That's what chips are, like a chip butty. But we'll also eat crisp butties. We'll also eat pot noodle butties. We'll put anything in bread, basically. British people are fantastic for coming up with creative ways to make a sandwich out of all sorts. But yeah, cookies. So like, I've got a packet of these. They're little chocolate chip cookies. Obviously, those are what we know as cookies. But like, say bourbons or rich teas or digestives, they're just biscuits. I think over in the US you call them all cookies, whereas our cookies are just the ones with chocolate chips in them. But yeah, like a dinner roll. So is it just called a dinner roll? Or? A Wigan kebab, a pie in a bum. Oh, I don't know about that. I think that would be like too much gluten for me. But I quite happily have like I'll dip a bit of bread in the bottom of pot noodle, or you know, like super noodles. You know, them ramens. Oh, all right, Mary. I hope baby's all right. You can catch up with us later. So, just gone all the way around. I'm just going to tie this off. Snip that. So, we've now got a fully done neck piece. Alright, so for the burrito roll, what we're going to do is we're going to turn it right sides out. And this is the burrito roll. It's one of my favourite things to do. I have thought as well about posting another video for like day 4 for like hacks and things like that. For the 25k bralette, because I actually mashed the 25k bra with the Create Your Own skater dress, and I basically used like the liner of this as to go underneath the the Create Your Own skater dress. So I had the main bodice of the Create Your Own skater dress with obviously the skirt and everything attached, but I used the 25k as the liner and put a bit of elastic underneath it so I could wear the dress without a bra, because it had a built-in bra. So that was quite a fun little mash-up I did, and it works amazingly. So, for the burrito roll, so we've got it right sides out. My table isn't big enough. What you want to do is on the furthest side from you, flip it out. So you've got, I don't know if you can see this very well, so you've got the outer up, and you've put the liner out underneath, because what we're going to do is we're going to roll this side into this gap here. So can you see this gap here very well? Do I use a zigzag on a sewing machine? Yes, Jan, you can use a zigzag on a sewing machine, or if you've got like the lightning stitch, any stretch stitch that you've got on an ordinary sewing machine. If you want, Anne, what I can do is I can make another one and put it as another video as well, so we can show you how to do it on a regular sewing machine as well as an overlocker. I use an overlocker for a lot of the stretch fabrics because I find especially where I've got a child who likes to pull on clothes or smack your boobs in the middle of IKEA. That's reminding me of something funny I need to share with you today from IKEA. But I find it is well worth investing in an overlocker if you use stretch fabrics a lot, because it does give you generally a lot better, stronger seams. But there is nothing wrong with using a bog standard sewing machine. I know somebody who's quite big in the sewing community, you might have seen a lot of her makes, somebody called Florence Taylor. She makes everything on an old domestic sewing machine, because I was having a conversation with Florence not long ago, asking what machine it is and everything she uses. She makes everything on a bog standard sewing machine. So for the burrito style, brilliant. So what you want to do is just match up on this style and really tightly roll as much as you can. The most important bit to tightly roll is actually this other arm. So roll it all so it goes into a tiny little sausage into this, so it'll all be rolled in here. So this is as easy as I can show you for the burrito style. Now what you want to do for the burrito style then is pull your liner over to meet your outer, and it'll be right sides together. And then all I do is I put one clip there, pull that one over, one clip here, and then I just meet those two up. Now I don't know how everybody else lays their seams when they're matching up shoulder seams and that, but I always tend to do one of the overlock seams going one way and the other is going the other way. So just to show you, so on the line, on the outer, obviously it's going that way, but on the inner it's going this way. So when you, so as you can see, it goes one way and the other way, and I have found that that is my best little tip to getting your shoulder seams to actually like line up properly. Any seams, to be honest. I mean, I do it the same when I'm doing waistbands as well. So your funny looking shape should now be like this, and inside here is the other arm, so that is in there, all tightly rolled up. So when you're sewing along here, you want to make sure that as you go, you're just making sure that you push that all the way in, so it's like a sausage in a casing. Do you want me to show you that again? So let's just show you it again, and then I'll tell you my funny IKEA story. So wrong sides together, right sides out. Flip your liner underneath. Just move that waistband now. Flip your liner underneath. Get hold of your other arm. Make sure that that is tightly rolled. Roll it into the middle. It doesn't matter too much about the sides. The main bit is making sure the other arm. And then match up those. Match up the shoulder seams. And then match up your arm side. My blue's gone a bit curly overnight. Yeah, though, that's cool, Amy. Did you put your pictures in the album? I know some people have got, you know, really excited to already put them in, and I'm all happy to have a chat with everybody. I like having a chat with people. because once my son's in bed, it's just me and the cats. Sometimes I feel a little bit silly talking to the cats, especially Milo. He just looks at you like, yeah, sure. Right, so my funny story for the day. In IKEA, last time we went on Friday and Saturday with my best friend Vicky, because she's part of our support bubble with me being a single parent. And there's been this gorgeous, like, doormat, but it's the shape of a rainbow and it's got the rainbow printed on it. And my best friend Vicky, she turned around to me last week and said, no, you can't buy it. Wait until you've got your flooring sorted. Wait until we've ripped the carpet up and just, you know, we've got your new flooring in the living room. And I was like, oh, all right, if you must. But today I saw it again and I said, please let me get the rainbow doormat. I mean, I don't answer to her at all. I was just messing about. And she sort of wandered off into the photo frames and stuff, which was the next section. And I said to Dylan, who's my son, I said, oh, Vicky's not going to let us get it. She's being mean. She's not going to let it. At the top of his voice, from the trolley, down an aisle to where Vicky was stood, he just shouted, Vicky, you need to let Mummy get the rainbow rug. And Vicky was just stood there, and like, she just was like, oh my God. All these people started looking at her like, why aren't you letting her get the rainbow rug? And Dylan just turns around and goes, it's not fair. You're not being fair to my mummy. She wants the rainbow rug. Please let her get it. And he was shouting this at the top of his voice. And there's all these other customers walking past us as we're parked up, like letting people go past, with him in the trolley, shouting his mouth off about this. And Vicky's just going bright red and just looking, and all these old people are just looking at her like, well why are you stopping her? Why are you stopping her again? It was hilarious. Me and India and Dylan were just all laughing our heads off, and Vicky was just mortified. She was like, I've never been so embarrassed by a nearly 4-year-old in all my life. I was like, it happens daily. That's why I don't go shopping with him. Story ends. We got the rainbow rug. So, can't wait to get that sorted. Even though I've not got the flooring sorted, we've still got the rainbow rug ready. I mean, it was £9. And I totally bought a Halloween mug. A glass. It's not actually glass, it's plastic. But it was 99p and I loved it. So I bought it. And I do not remember to drink enough. Right. So, now you've got your, what looks like one half. Yeah, rainbows are my life. I mean, I wasn't allowed to buy this either. But I bought it because it was £4 and it's pretty. I have rainbows everywhere. Like, I bought these off of a work at home mum from Instagram, and some little rainbow pastel ones because I like supporting little businesses. I've got rainbow everything. I've got rainbow overlocking thread. Can't get more rainbow than that. Right, so now all we're going to do is, we're not going to go down this side, but we are going to go along the arm size. Alright, I'm going to do it twice, because when you have to pull this one through, I found that my overlock is a bit temperamental. I mean, it's a very basic one, and I am looking at upgrading, but at the moment it does me well. She says, having had it in for repair twice in the last 2 months. To be fair, they did miss that I needed a new needle arm. So, just gonna go on it. But they did give me some new blades for free as well, so I wasn't overly mad with them, and it was also repaired in warranty. Right, just as you go in, just make sure that you're pushing the other arm in because we do not want to catch that. Just cut rid of these. Who are you sewing your 25k bralettes for then, people? Are we sewing them for ourselves? Are we sewing them for friends or relatives? I know we've had some people sewing them for family. I'm just going to turn that round and go back over it. Right, yeah, mine's a selfish sew as well. So once we've done that, what we're going to do now, open up and pull the other arm through. So you should have one arm completely done, and it's going to be nice, and besides obviously your shoulder seam, seamless for you. So for anybody that's joining late, we are doing the burrito style method, and we've just done one arm. So to start off with, all we've done is we've sewn the shoulder seams on the liner and the outer. We've put them right sides together and gone all the way around the neckline. And now we are just doing the burrito method. Oh, that's nice, Amy. I love sewing for other people, and I've got loads of people already asking for me to sew bralettes for them because it's been that really hot, icky, sticky weather in England at the moment where it's not sure what it wants to do, whether it wants to be hot, whether it wants to thunder, whether it wants to rain. It's got no idea. It's typical British weather, but it's been really icky and sticky, which is why I generally hate wearing bras. So, burrito style for the other arm. Again, flip your liner underneath. Now we're going to just simply do the same thing. Roll your sewn arm into the other one, stick a clip in the middle, a clip on each of the arm side. If you're a beginner with knits or a beginner sewer and you want to put a couple of clips all the way down, or pins, whichever you're sewing with, then by all means feel free to. The only thing I find with doing sew along videos is when you spend half your time clipping, or a shop bought bra the other day, it felt odd. I know, since lockdown I have put a lot of weight on, and I've ended up making so much more clothes, and I went to have a look at new bras and that the other day, and I just looked at them all and I just thought, oh, I'm not even going to. I'm just going to go and make some 25Ks because I know they fit, I know they are comfy, and they look way better in all the different fabrics that I've got compared to, oh, you can have a beige, or you can have a black, or you can have a white bra in my size. And me and underwiring don't get on. It's particularly great fun when you're out and about and a wire pops, and then you're sort of like doing this for the rest of the day trying to get a wire from out your boob, and people are just looking at you. It's just like, it's alright, I've got bra problems, don't worry. So again, should have a funny shaped one. Your other arm should be tucked in the middle, and then we're just going to go straight along here again. So again, I'm just going to do it twice because that is what I need to do with my overlocker. And it's partly a habit as well from where I sew clothes for my son, and he's not fantastic at taking clothes on and off properly without just like pulling a seam apart. So just make sure that your tightly rolled arm is still pushed all the way in. Do you know, my cat always finds the really randomest places to go to sleep. Just looked, and he's curled up next to a box on a shelf in like the smallest gap. It's like I deliberately cleared out a cube of the Kallax because he'd like to sleep in there, and now he's decided actually this cold metal shelf is actually where I want to sleep. Does anybody else have pets that sleep in really random places? What pets do people have? I know my friend Shelley, they've got a whole house full of rabbits, and they were just showing us pictures of all their naked bunny babies. I didn't even know rabbits weren't born with without fur. They are like legit the cutest things I've ever seen, besides my kittens. Has anybody got any like really random sewing like friends, like pet wise? Don't have any, but we've been following progress on baby pigeons. Ah, baby pigeons! My daughter's toy bucket is the cat's favourite. Yeah, why is it cats go for the weirdest place? Right, sorry. So once you've done that one, all you need to do now is pull it through. So you should have a fully sewn neck hole and arm size. So all we need to do now is sew these bits to those bits that are all the way up there because they got caught on my hood. How do we join these bits together? So let's lie the front down on the table. You want to open it up so you've got the weirdest positions. So don't even get me started. Oh, Milo's heard that I'm talking about him. One of my friend's cats sleeps like on its head and upside down, butt in the air. But the best ones for finding in our house, the best ones for finding weird positions, is we've got two rats. They're two little albino boys. One's called Pumpkin because we got him at Halloween, and his brother's called Freddy, as in Freddy Krueger. We actually got him on the Friday the 13th, but my son didn't like the name Jason, as in Jason Voorhees. So I said, I was going through like different horror characters, and we got to Freddy, and he's like, yeah, Freddy. I was like, Freddy Krueger? And he goes, yeah, Freddy Krueger. He's got no idea who Freddy Krueger is. But he absolutely wanted to call him Freddy Krueger. So we have two white rats called Pumpkin and Freddy Krueger. And we have a handful of cats. My old man cat, Shadow, he's absolutely adorable, but he doesn't like the kittens. So he's kind of gone to live with the old man that lives around the back, who's one of our friends. We've sort of supported him through lockdown and that. And they're happy as Larry because they're like two grumpy old men together. But it means that neither of them is lonely, that he's always there. He's really, really well looked after, so I'm more than happy that he's taken up living there instead. But we've got Milo, who's the black one that you saw earlier. We've got Luna, who is a little... She's very small. She's fully grown. She's exactly 9 months older than my son is. but she's Milo's daughter. We did have another brother and sister of hers and her mum, but unfortunately they all passed away. But Luna has had 2 kittens. So we have Artemis, who's a little brown tabby and white boy, and we have Cosmo, who's a little grey tabby girl, and we have Zuma, who is the orange floofball that you may have seen fighting Milo down here on the beginning of yesterday's video. We'd actually agreed to get him from my neighbours before we realised that Luna was pregnant. So we've ended up with 3 kittens. Zuma is now 18 weeks old, and Cosmo and Artemis are now 14 weeks old. So we have a whole bundle of kittens. But they all share the same dad, not the same mum, so they are like half siblings. But my issue is when I have kittens, I can't get rid of them. Hi Milo. Did you hear we were talking about you? Do you want to come say hello to all the new people? This is Milo. He's granddad now. Yeah. Your granddad cat now. But yeah, he knows when you're talking about him. Go on then. Good boy. So, sewing the sides up together. Oh, hi Kelly. So, once you've got your fronts laid out, flip your liner behind and lie your front face up. We're going to take the back and pop it over, and we're going to match up print to print, plain to plain. So liner to liner and outer to outer. And then we're just going to, I just stick 3 clips in each side. And again, I'm just going to flip one seam back and the other seam forward, so it ends up meeting up quite nicely. And then one more clip at the end. Depending on what fabric you're using, you might need to stretch it a little bit, but don't forget we're not actually meeting up the ends of the fabric together, because you've got that seam allowance on there. What you're actually going to be meeting up is the stitch line, not the actual fabric line. So a lot of people think, well, with a lot of patterns, well, hang on a second, why doesn't this line up? Because you're trying to line up the fabric, not the stitch line. So for instance, on here, because it's a 1/2 inch, you're actually going to be like meeting up here, not up here. So as long as these bits meet, doesn't matter if these bits don't, because they'll get cut off. So once you've done that, you should have a tube, and obviously all your shoulder bits are all in here. So we've got the sides matched up, top and the bottom, which is obviously side to side, and we're just now going to sew along here. Alright, so I'm just going to start off with I'll start with that one because that bit's got curly, so I need to go through that. Oh, are you fairly new to us then, Lucy? Yeah, Rad Patterns is a fantastic place to be because it is so inclusive of all walks of life. I mean, I've been part of the Rad team now for, gosh, it's got to be about a year now. And I've absolutely loved seeing everything. I love seeing all different people from all different places of the world, and backgrounds and everything. And Rad is such a fantastic place to be. You may notice if you've like only just sort of started with Rad, you'll probably notice on the website things aren't categorised as being men's or women's or girls or boys. because we like to make it such an inclusive place for you know, all the trans community as well. Like, for example, I'm non-binary, so I don't really like buying men's patterns. I don't really like buying women's patterns. I like buying adult patterns. So under a lot of the patterns now, you'll have 2 variants. So take the neighbourhood raglan top, for example. You've got the straight fit and the hourglass fit. So if you've got more of a curvaceous body, you go for the hourglass one. If you've got more of a straight up and down body, you'd go for the straight fit one. So it's a lot better. I mean, a lot of companies, I think, are still trying to get up to date with a lot of the right things to say, the right place, you know, the right ways to be around people. But Stephanie and Rad Patterns is absolutely fantastic. I mean, for example, I still accept people calling me she and her because I only really came out last year. But I am trying to get more into being they and them. And, you know, it does take a lot of my friends, you know, some time to get used to it, because obviously they've always known me as being a female. But Rad is a brilliant place to learn about that sort of stuff, and you'll find a lot of places are great for learning all that sort of stuff in as well. But Rad, I found, is one of the places I feel safest, and it's one of the places that I absolutely love patterns. And we will be doing more sew-alongs because I've decided that more people are asking the same sort of questions a lot. So, for example, the one that inspired me to do this was a lot of people want to know how to do bands, sewing with knits and bands and that. So I thought, well, hold on, okay, let's start off with a 25k because it's a free pattern, and you know, I can go through things like the burrito method. I can go through things like how to sew bands. It's a great beginning project if you're new to working with knits as well. Seam allowance, Kathy, for this pattern, it is 1/2 inch. So always double check on the bottom, but Rad is usually 1/2 inch. Some companies have got like 3/8. And things like that, but I always work to a 1/2 inch if that is what it says on the pattern. Yeah, in terms of sew-alongs as well, Lucy, if you're just sort of starting to get into looking at Rad Patterns and that, I have actually put a poll up in the announcement section of the group where you can vote for what sort of patterns it is you would like to see in the next sew-along. I was thinking, because a lot of people seem to be selecting underwear, is maybe doing like 2 patterns for the next one. Maybe looking at doing the adult formerly men's boxer wear and doing the adult formerly female lucky booty shorts, because they're sort of similar patterns, but obviously one fits, you know, a penis more, and the other obviously fits vagina better. So, you know, it's a good sort of a mix of patterns if people want to do underwear. If you want to do tops and that, we could just go for the raglan, because obviously we can do the straight or the hourglass versions of that as well. So, you know, it's completely up to what people want to do. And with the 25k bra sew-along that we're doing at the moment as well, is anybody that makes the 25k bra and feels like putting any of their photos, whether it goes from pattern cutting to fabric cutting to actual finished, pop them in the album that I've set up. And Steph has agreed with me to do a competition that we're doing a random draw that everybody has got a chance to win a free Rad Patterns of your choice as well. So I'm hoping that, you know, if we make this like a monthly sew-along thing, then we can see how it goes. And if people really enjoy doing them, then I am more than happy to do them more often, because I think it's something to, you know, be sewing on your own and that, but sometimes it's nice to do it with other people. And I mean, I don't do anything in the evenings other than sit and talk to my cats and sew. And sometimes I think Milo just looks at me like I'm a nutter. So I'm fine with that. Right, so we've sewn up both the sides. So all we want to do now is fold one side under. So you want to put the liner on the inside, and we should have a nearly complete sewn up bralette. So do you want me to show you how to top stitch it, or do you want me to do top stitching in a separate video? Because I know there was somebody that wanted top stitching, but what I could do is I could leave this one not top stitched, and I'll do top stitching in with the armband version. Does anybody want to see top stitching, or shall I do top stitching as a separate video and we'll just do the waistband? It's alright, I'm just trying to get my seams to lie flat, ready to attach the waistband. So I'm just going to clip these. So I know there was somebody that wanted to see top stitching and said don't skip that part, but I think they were doing which way am I doing this? Yeah, I think they were doing the armband ones. So with top stitching, it's really personal preference whether you want to do top stitching or not. So on the burrito style, you can do top stitching all the way around the arm side. You can do top stitching all the way around the neckline and the other arm side, and then obviously we can do it around the waistband as well. But if you're like me and not too fussed about having a lot of seams everywhere, burrito style is brilliant, just left as it is. I mean, if you really wanted to do like under stitching, stitching the liner down. Anne, was it you that wanted to know about the top stitching of the waistband? So top stitching is when, so obviously you've got your seam all tucked in here, but sometimes when you wash it, your liner can sort of ride up a bit, or like your outer can roll over to the inner. Top stitching is where you would basically go along. Top stitching in this version, it's mainly just to sort of stop it rolling, really. Trying to see if I've got any top stitching on the top I've currently got on. Probably not. Right. Trying to find something that I've got top stitching on. Hold on a second, I know what I've got. Right. So, this is a top that I've done. Now, for this one, because it's a raglan style, I top stitched along here. So what that is that holds this seam down from being too flappy, obviously on the reverse. So obviously, as you can see, it's top stitched all the way down, but I also did it around the neckband as well. So I do that a lot of the times on neckbands to stop this bit flapping up and irritating me. So obviously you got it all the way around. Now with these as well, and I'll show you this because this has got it on the waistband as well. So obviously this has got a waistband on this one. So obviously you've attached your waistband, you flipped it down and pressed it, and then just top stitched all the way over it, and that just, it holds down your seam, But also you can make it decorative as well. So obviously, as you can see, I did mine in a rainbow stitch. Now you can do it. You can do it either with a straight stitch or a zigzag stitch, or whichever you feel. Now different machines can prefer one type of stitch to another. So I found with my old machine, my old sewing machine, it liked doing it as a zigzag stitch instead of a straight stitch. But I found with this machine, my Toyota, it actually prefers doing top stitching with a straight stitch. A lot of people when you top stitch, you've got to make sure that you get the tension right, because otherwise it can sort of end up going all sort of like wiggly and things like that, and it kind of ends up a bit puckered and it looks like it's not sitting flat. You can get around that, and just by simply steam pressing it, you can get it to lie flat. If you want it, the best way to do is to just get a scrap, and obviously do a seam on a scrap, and then test your machine to top stitch it to see which way suits your machine better. Now obviously with my Toyota, I tend to do it on quite a longer stitch, so I tend to go for like a 3 or a 4 on a straight stitch, because I found that sometimes it can be a bit funny on a zigzag top stitch and it can make it pucker up a bit. No, even with the best iron in the world, sometimes I end up just ripping it out and doing a straight stitch over the top. With knits, I don't really like unpicking, just because because I've got fibromyalgia and Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, I don't have the best grip in my hands. So when I'm unpicking things, sometimes I end up sticking a hole in my fabric and I end up really hating the garment completely after that. But what I'll do is I will show you how to put the waistband on this one, and then I'll top stitch the waistband on this one, so you can sort of see what I mean. Does that kind of explain it well enough for you, Lucy and Kathy? But the benefit of top stitching this one, personal preference, I mean, I would normally top stitch the waistband seam down, just because obviously I've gone to that effort of burrito in it so that I've not got a lot of seams to irritate me. Right, so waistband time. Now, I've just clipped my seams together at the sides. Before I start on the waistband, my most helpful trick for adding a waistband is in the prep of the garment before you add the waistband. So to add a waistband, what I do is obviously I'll sew it together, turn it over, and then before I attach it, I'm going to quarter it. But what I want to do first is I want to quarter effectively my bralette first. So with the side seams matched up, I'm just going to find that halfway point in the back and stick a clip there. So I've already got the clips on the side seam just holding that together, and now I've got my back point, so that's where I'm generally going to put the seam of the waistband, at that back point. Now I want to do the same thing for the front. I want to find that mid point of the front, so I'm going to find it there, obviously just holding these two clips together so I can find that mid point and just stick a clip on there. Now because my front is bigger than my back, because I've gone for the larger cups, my holding the middle of the back and the middle of the front clips together, I can see that actually my side seam isn't the exact So I'm going to just stick another clip here. So you've got the middle points here, and I'm just going to stick another one there, and that's going to be my quarter point. And again, just do it on the other side. Just going to hold the mid points together and go up, find my other quarter point. Now it doesn't matter if you leave these in, the side seam ones in, or take them out. I just leave them in because then it holds the seams together flat. Because what I've done is, while I was talking, I've just flattened these two seams, the inside and the outer, so that it lies flat. So now that I've prepped that, I'm just going to pop that to one side and get my waistband piece. So you should have one long waistband piece that we cut on the fold. Fold it in half, right sides together, and we're just going to go along this seam, again 1/2 inch seam allowance, and just go straight along. And then you've got your waistband. So I just fold my seam down and get it to meet across. Now that is going to be, so we're folding it in half, wrong sides together now. That point there, I know, is going to be the back, because that's where my seam is. So then just going along here, so you want to fold it so it's in half, so you've got your wrong sides together, right sides out. Now with your clip or your pin at the top, just pull it down so you find again your mid point. So this is going to be, yeah, okay Stephanie, no worries, night. So this is going to be your front midpoint. So I'm just going to stick a clip in there. So I've got 2 clips here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing that we did with the bralette, match my 2 clips up, and then I'm just going to find my top point there, and that is my quarter point. And again, turn it round, clips together, pull it up but not pulling stretch wise, just pulling it so it lies flat, and again that is my quarter point. So on your waistband you have 4 clips. So that's my back one because it's where my seam is. Those are going to be my side points, and that's going to be my front point. So grab your bralette back, make sure you've got your front and your back easily identified. Now because I've gone with a printed band and I don't want it to be upside down, I'm just going to make sure that when I flip the band down, the print is all going to line up, so all my scales are going to be going down. Now to attach it, I'm going to turn it in on itself, so now the print, it's not very, which way around is it? To be fair, I don't think it really matters actually looking at it. Do I want green or blue? No, that's which way. Right, so, sorry. With my band, I'm just going to put it over, pull my bralette through. Alright, so I've got my band. I'm going to match up my back points. So the middle of the back is going to meet where my seam is. So I can take one of those clips off and just clip the other together. Okay. And then I'm going to meet the front with the front middle point. Again, just clip those together, and then we can go along to the sides now and just make sure that our side ones meet our actual true quarter points, not the side seam but the actual true quarter point, and then to the other one as well. Now your quarter points might all be different if you've got different cup sizes. So for like the smaller ones might be a bit further back and vice versa. So now all you have to do is just stretch your band to meet that. So this is between my side quarter and my front middle. So obviously you can see that I've got a little bit of extra here. All I would do is would just stretch the band and just stick. You can put as many or as little clips in as you want. I always go for a minimum of 4 to do my quarters, because then I know it's going to be nice and even stretching all the way around. So again, between my front middle and my other side quarter, just stretch that band. This is another useful trick that I've learned. If you use clips, you can open them with your teeth. So as you're stretching, my son has even watched me doing this and has learnt how to do it. So just make sure all your layers are all nice and taut. You've got hands, not as many hands as an octopus. Open the clip, clip it on. It's really, really easy and brilliant for when you need lots more hands than you've actually got. Again, just go in between your true quarter points and the centre of the back. Line all your layers up. Stick a clip on. And then last one. I know a lot of people struggle with doing vans. That is by far the easiest way to do it. So now I've got 8 clips on, plus obviously my centre one, plus my side seams, and that's just going to hold it on while I stretch going round. Personal preference of where you start. I like to start and finish at the centre of the back. So I'm going to start off here, and I'm just going to go all the way round the waistband and end up back at that point as well. Now there is a hack that you can do as well for this bra that I found quite useful, is if you wanted to add elastic into your waistband. There is plenty of space to be able to add elastic. I always go with an inch wide elastic. Obviously I'll do it normal for now, but if you want to put elastic in, you can either measure the elastic first and loop it through, and obviously just have to keep shifting it round as you're sewing, or leave about 1.5 to 2 inch gap between your start point and your end point, and then obviously thread your elastic through, sew it up, and then go and sew the hole up. So say you wanted a little bit more support, like if you're a larger cup like myself and you wanted a bit more support, and you just wanted to put some inch wide elastic in the band. See, this one's got elastic in there. So obviously you've got, you know, a bit more support. Do it. If you want to use elastic instead of the band, you can hack it as well. You don't even have to put a waistband on. If you want to do, like, say 2 inch elastic instead of a waistband, make it yours. Whichever you find is going to give you the support you want, whether you want it as a sleep bra, a sports bra, an everyday bra, just that I can't be bothered to put a normal bra on bra. Make it yours. I want to see whatever creations you come up with. So all we're doing now is, as we're going, just gently stretch between each of your pins or clips, and it's a 1/2 inch seam allowance again. So I'm just going round, stretching gently between those points, so you don't have to do an awful lot of stretching. So so you don't have to do an awful lot of stretching at all. You'll probably find that you'll stretch more in the front than the back. And if you're using an overlocker with pins, please remember to take them out. I was sewing on a very tired day, let's say, and decided putting pins in with an overlocker was a brilliant idea. It was not. I have some power net. Do I just put that in the middle? Yeah, you can put that in the middle. You can absolutely add it as a third layer if you want even more support. So all you would do is, as you are doing, if you want to add it in as a third layer, you would add it in between sewing all the shoulder seams. So you'd want to put so you'd sew all 3 layers of shoulder seams. And then as you're putting the layers together to do the neckline seam, when they're right sides together, you would simply put your outer, your power net, and your so you'd have your liner right side up, power net right side up, outer right side down. So you'd make a sandwich effectively. Carry on the method exactly the same. So it's basically you're just sandwiching it. If you're wanting to put power net in a power net instead of the liner, so you're wanting to make the power net your liner, do it that way. Yeah, if you're needing a bit more support because you want to make it more of a sports bra, or you've just got big knockers like myself and you want a bit more support, then yeah. Are you doing it as a third layer? Why is it I don't get any messages all day, but then suddenly as soon as I'm on live my phone's going crazy? It's not even about sewing, it's about Pokemon Go. Does anybody else play Pokemon Go? Yeah, third layer. Yeah, so basically treat it like you would the liner, but just sandwich it between the liner and the outer. Sorry, I forgot my words then. So yeah, so you'd have your liner. So you'd have your liner right side up, your power net right side up, and your outer right side down. Does that make sense, Anne? Right, that's waistband attached. So flip it the right way round and you should have a fully finished 25k bra. So your waistband is all attached. Mine's so pretty. Do you want me to show you how to top stitch the waistband down? Fab, Anne. It's brilliant. I'll have to try one actually with some power net. I think I've got some somewhere. Night, Lucy. I know, sorry it's been a bit late. I will do the second video quickly, and if people don't want to join me on live for the armband one, that's no problem at all. I understand it's getting late in the UK. You can watch it anyway, catching up afterwards. But I will just, while I've got my sewing machines out and that, I will just go through doing the other one with the armbands for those who want to watch it. And what I'll do then is I will do quick top stitching on that one to show you how to top stitch the armbands down as well as waistbands, because I know there was somebody that wanted to know how to do the top stitching. Let me just see. Somebody did say. See if I can find. Oh yeah, that phone goes funny when it's plugged in. Ellen, are you on? Is Ellen on? Don't think Ellen's on. I'll tag them in the next video. Has anybody got any questions about the burrito method or anything to do with the 25k bra? That's backwards. Make sure I've got all my pieces for the armband one. So, is anyone wanting to join me for the second live? Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this video and I'm going to go live again for the second one, so that I can upload these as 2 individual videos to YouTube for those who want to follow it on afterwards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come off of this and I will see you all again in a minute or 2. Is that alright? Anybody going to come join me for the armband version? Right. Yeah, no worries, Liz. Like I said, what I'll do is I'll make sure that I save them all and they all stay up on the group anyway. I'll also, because I had some technical issues yesterday with day 2's video, I couldn't put it on my page or YouTube. So I will see if I can somehow recover that. But I will upload these anyway, and same with the armband one. I will upload them as well. Alright, night, Anne. Right, I will come over here, save this video, and I will go live again in a few minutes. Alright, see you later.